How you live today depends completely on what you believe about tomorrow. For example, if you believed that you were going to die tomorrow, you would live today doing everything you possibly could to accomplish or to engage with the people that you care about or any of the things that were important to you that you would be concerned about missing if you were not going to be here tomorrow. Likewise, if you believe that tomorrow was going to be no different than today, there's a good chance that you might find yourself coping or just doing things to try and get by because tomorrow is going to look just like today, and the day after that will look just like the day before that. But for followers of Jesus, we have a very specific understanding of tomorrow that I don't think we give enough credit. However, the day of the Lord will come like a thief. On that day, the heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will melt and disintegrate, and the earth and everything in it will be burned up. Since everything is going to be destroyed like this, what kind of people should you be? You should lead holy and godly lives as you wait for the day of God and work to hasten its coming. That day will bring on the destruction of the heavens by fire, and the elements will melt from the heat. But we, following along with his promise, wait for a new heavens and a new earth, in which righteousness will be at home. Therefore, dear friends, as you look for these things, do everything you can to be found by him without spot or defect and at peace. Now, what's interesting about this is what Peter is referring to is not how you behave. He's not saying be a good person so that when God arrives and when the Lord shows up in the heavens that he'll find you there being a good person. That's not what he's saying. The words that he uses are holy and godly, without spot or defect. You see, what this is referring to is worldliness. We often tend to think of everything through this lens of trying to be a good person in a bad place. But it's more about our orientation. It's about being holy, which means separate, separate from the world, separate from the way that the world does things. In some areas, does that pertain to our behaviors, not behaving as the world does? Yes, of course. But it's so much deeper than that. It's about living our life in such a way that we understand that all that we see, this material life that everybody else is caught up with, the pretensions of life, the concerns of life, this is how they've oriented themselves. That's why he ends this with at peace. It's not just holy, it's not just without spot or without defect, but and at peace. Because the whole world is busy striving and striving to concern themselves with all these things that are going to be burned up. But we, as a people who understand the end from the beginning, we understand what tomorrow is going to bring. Whereas everyone else is operating with no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. But we know what tomorrow is going to bring. Even if it's not physically tomorrow, we know what the ultimate tomorrow is going to bring. And in light of that, in light of the knowledge that we will all stand before the presence of our Father in heaven, and we will give an account for the life that we've lived, will that life be one that was consumed by the cares and worries of a world that is passing away? Or will that life be one that was separated, that was lived in light of what tomorrow will bring, lived in light of the great and fearsome day of the Lord? Will it be a life lived for the kingdom that is coming or for the kingdom that is passing away? We are in the unique position to understand what actually matters. You realize every human being who does not know the Lord, that is not in connection with the Messiah, has to spend every single day of their life trying to figure out what matters or making up what matters for themselves because they don't know what tomorrow will bring. They don't know that the great and the fearsome day of the Lord is coming. They don't know what things will transcend and what things will stay. They don't know what things to prioritize today because they don't understand about tomorrow. But we are not such a people. We are a people who we have it right here in the book. We can see the future. And in light of the fact that we can see the future, we ought to orient our lives in light of what we know. Because whether we're here for the moment that he intrudes upon this material plane, or whether we're taken beforehand, we will all stand before the same God. We will all give an account for whether we lived our lives in reference to this great and fearsome day. And so the question is, when that day comes, will we be found looking more like the world we're leaving or the world that's coming?